rent-free in your heads again, huh? I mean, if you're gonna spend your days obsessing over me, you might as well start calling me something respectable. Maybe Daddy Shizzy, or better yet, Papa Nut. Who's the grown-up here? Oh right, it's me. Let's go. Call me Daddy, yeah, that's who I am. Running your mind's like a master plan. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, take your pick. I'm rolling in your thoughts while you still act sick. Call me Daddy, it's what you mean. Why you chase the crooks and I take the lead? Living rent-free, that's my name. Go ahead, say it, put some respect on the name. Man, I'm too old, well here's a surprise. I'm the one with the brains while you're stuck with the lies. You act like you're experts, but here's the reality. I'm the one controlling your mental reality. So while you're out there trying to throw shade, I'm sipping coffee and you're feeling betrayed. You're mad, I got the spotlight, now it's my time. So why not call me Daddy or Papa with a rhyme? I'm the landlord and you're just the tenants, stuck in your headspace with no insight, no repentance. Call me Daddy, you know it's true. You'd be lost without me, stuck in the glue. Call me Daddy, I'm holding your mind while you're scrambling, trying to find what's behind. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, don't you see? You're living in my world now, I'm a VIP. Call me Daddy, just let it be. While you're trying to figure out your own identity. Oh, I see you're confused, trying to get it right, spinning your wheels while I'm out of sight. You think you've got it figured, but you got it all wrong. I've been running your minds all along. But sure, keep pretending you don't care. Keep saying you're done, but I'm still in the air. You got no choice but to bounce my name. Daddy Shizzy is here to open the game. You say you don't watch, but you're obsessed. Every word I say puts you to the test. Call me Daddy, Papa Nut, you know you should. Because I've been living rent-free, and you know it feels good. Shizzy Daddy, owning your headspace, and there's no escape. Good luck with that.
Good evening, everybody. I'm doing this over on a different format and seeing if it works. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it's not sounding too crappy tonight. I hope not. Let me see if I need to increase my volume on it. Sometimes the volume just needs to be brought up just a little bit. That might work. Yeah, I hope that's a little bit better and not too much. Bring it about 123. There we go. That looks a little more stable. Good to see you. Yes, Max Slabs. The fleas are so dumb. The line about the bankruptcy case. Yeah, we'll get into that tonight. It's crazy. And of course, of Two Boys just became a member. Welcome. This is for you.
Welcome to the
Shit show. Every single day, it's a new flavor of thuggery, 'cause everybody sucks, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of rocks. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, baller, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and thuggery. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. But yeah, thank you again, Max. And it's crazy because I pulled that thing up just to see exactly what was going on. It was interesting to me because I pulled this up right here, and it basically says right here this is right off the court thing, and it says notice of canceled hearing. What did I say about Administrative Order 25.003? That there was most likely they weren't going to hear this case inside of the courtroom. That it would more than likely be held up. What the judge said is notice of canceled hearing. Hearing scheduled for 10/7 is canceled prior to hearing date. Now, what they do continue to say that nobody, and this is why we like to bring up those receipts. Like some people don't like the receipts. It's not their fault. They just can't handle whenever you show them. Let me see. Why is it doing that? I can't find my mouse. My cursor went away. There we go. It says right here, court will rule on the papers. This right here, it says the court will rule on the papers. What was filed? Right here, the court is going to rule on the motion to reinstate case. That's what they're saying. They're going to rule on the papers that were filed to decide whether they want to continue on with it or not. It doesn't mean the bankruptcy case is back on. It just means that the judge is looking at the rulings. They're not going to have a hearing over this. Don't know why. It could be for any number of reasons. Hello. Good to see you. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, Megan O'Brien. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Everyone ever have sciatic pain? No, but I have been a pain in the ass. Most definitely, I'm good at being a pain in the ass. That's for sure. So I saw that and I was just, and Max said, why are they saying this? And I was like, no, it makes no sense because that's not what the court says. But of course, we're used to the kind of insanity that comes spewing out all the time of things that don't make any difference. I hope they don't grant it to go forward. Well, actually, Teresa, here's the thing. If they do grant it to go forward, it puts some people in a really tight predicament. Oh yeah, you found it, didn't you? Somebody did something. What did you do? I didn't do that. I may have to go in and fix that. Whatever is wrong with that, that is obnoxious. No, that's the thing. There's a very big possibility that this could get granted. It could go forward, and it really puts the anti-what-the-hell's ecosystem into a bind. We're talking a big bind because that trustee is going to want to take a look at all of that money. That means they're going to have a sit down. They're going to have a hearing. If the trustee gets involved, it's going to get crazy. Hey, Terry, good to see you. Miss Roberts, C Talks, good to see you. Welcome. We've got, like the banjos. Again, I didn't do that. Somebody else did that. I don't know who did. Shame on you. Whatever you did. Your man played a mean banjo. You guys about broke me one night doing that. I thought I disabled that. I'll have to figure that one out and see what caused it. Your aunt played a mean banjo. Well, you like mean banjos? Well, I got something for you. How's this? I got a mean banjo for you right here. Here we go.
Bought a camper, thought it was home. 2 years old and rotten to the bone. Camper was a lemon from the very first day. Toilet flush was stuck, water ran away. Flooded the floor when we weren't at home. Underside rod, I couldn't call it my own. I pulled that toilet, watched a video too, but the repair guy laughed, said they're all crap, it's true. The camper left cause a black mold grew. Headaches and sinuses and made us move. It shocked our hands in a lightning storm. The bottom fell out, it wouldn't keep us warm. Point blank truth, no secret to lose. That's the story of my lemon camper blues. Hurricanes blew, rain found its slide. Black as mold like dirt piles inside. Scrubbed and scrubbed, but it came right back. Doctor said get out before your health cracks. Didn't want my little girl sick from the air, so I called the bank, said come get it, I don't care. The camper left cause the black mold grew. Headaches and sinuses and made us move. It shocked our hands in a lightning storm. The bottom fell out, it wouldn't keep us warm. Point blank truth, no secret to lose. That's the story of my lemon camper blues. Replaced the main brain, thought it was fine, but after one bad storm it shocked us blind. Electrical trouble, water on the floor, said I've had enough, can't take no more. Called up the banker, camper blue.
Yeah.
CPS was called, but not by us. You'll have the answers in the next video. Until then, y'all remember, you need the permit.
And that's on the newest album, Kicking Puppies. Yeah. Elbow cough, elbow cough. Yeah, awesome. That guy looks too normal to be Cook. Who said it was Crook? That's the thing. Ooh, but I do have some fun for you tonight. So this was sent to me over the weekend. So what I did is I went and looked at myself, pulled it, put it into a Word document, and then rewrote it to make it a little bit easier on the mind. So I'll show you what it looked like to start out with and the way that I transformed it to make it more legible. If you could call anything that's done legible. Please, Mr. Bonebreaker Crusher, alone, please. I stay on my own property taking care of my child. No, I do not want any man in my life other than Jason. These rumors are sick and disgusting and sad. This man is grieving for the love of his life. He's so mean. I leave everyone alone. I do my flea market and I come home. Stop. Samantha, you are a liar and evil. People alone that have not seen me or heard from me in 20 years. Why hurt people that know part of anything? Diagnosed with any mental illness, nor am I ever going to be. You're doing this for Catherine. And I have not thrown people under the bus that have not been part of this. But I can't. And I know I can, Samantha, if I have to tell the world what your father did to me. I will. And I don't think for 1 minute that I don't have proof. I do. You want to get your little few minutes of fame because of your sex offending mother isn't going to do it. Because I also have proof of that. I had nothing to do with Kathy being turned in or convicted of self-offending. I know nothing about it until months after it already started, and Bill came knocking on my door. Truth, I don't have Munchausen's by proxy. I'm not mentally ill. I treated you like a princess. You were spoiled rotten, and maybe that's what's wrong with you. Oh, I know you're mad about what I said when you were pregnant, and I do regret it, but you deserve me giving you the peace of my mind I gave you. You kept violating the no-contact order between Kathy and Ashley, and that was a court order legal, and I followed it to a T as I was instructed by the popo, by the social workers, by the courts. I kept Ashley safe as I was supposed to. Shame on the Samantha. You should think about your own children, the molestation that they've gone through, other children that they've touched. You need to stop. They will stop soon, and that's the end of that. Don't think I'm the old me because I'm not. I will fight back, and all you people want to listen to all this garbage entertaining is so fun. You're listening to lies, and you're destroying lives, and God will make you pay, and I hope so. God, so I pray for it. I will pray for He forgives you. But if He doesn't, that's on you. You all deserve what you give from the Father in heaven. You get what you deserve. We are in this. We were chosen because the stalker didn't think we would go fight back. Well, we're fighting back, and we will continue to fight back. We will stand in our seats, and that's it. I wouldn't go to court and say I was guilty of anything if I didn't do it. And you don't get convicted of something like you're saying when you plead guilty for no reason. You don't see you confess, so stop it, Samantha. Mind your own business because your life ain't so good and you're not. Just drinking all the time. It sure isn't me, Samantha, but I sure heard you can throw a few back because you seem to be an alcoholic these days. And as a mother that raised you for the first 12 and a half years of your life, that makes me so heartbroken for you. But stop talking about crap you don't know anything about. Stop making up shit because of stories that have been told to you. It's ridiculous. Stop it, Samantha. I apologize with all my heart for telling you what I did, but you violated that order of protection for Ashley over and over and over. No contact, no contact, Samantha, no contact. Kathy was on parole, no contact. But if you violated day after day after day after day until I couldn't take it anymore, you know damn well that your mother molested not only Robert, but Tommy as well. Tommy said it over and over and over again. It's ridiculous. It's wrong for you to continue doing what you're doing and saying. But you are. They made Ashley lie. She went back to court and told them the truth. Then all of it was dismissed and dropped, and I'm getting this, and I'm getting this case, and I will be posting it. I will be defending myself with every lie, with every twist, with every turn. I'll be defending myself. You can guarantee it until I show the world not only is my stalker a liar, but you are as well. The things you've done for Kathy, all the things you've done for a convicted SAer that left our little boys alone. You shouldn't be ashamed of yourself. I loved you. I spoiled you. I treated you like a princess, and you were well. You've grown up now, and you're not that little princess anymore. People that live in glass houses should not throw rocks. So I broke it down into simpler terms to read. And it says, people, I'm begging of you, leave Mr. Baumcraft alone. He's grieving the loss of his soulmate and doesn't deserve to be dragged into anyone's gossip. I stay home, I mind my business, take care of my child, and I'm not interested in any other man. That JC, the rumors are going around are twisted, disgusting, and sad. I live a quiet life. I go to the flea market. I come home, and that's it. So stop spreading lies. Samantha, I'm calling you out directly. You're lying and you're cruel. You've been stirring things up, dragging innocent people into this mess, people who haven't seen or spoken to me in 20 or 30 years. Why would you hurt people who've done nothing to do any of this? I'm tired of it. I've never been diagnosed with any mental illnesses and never will be. Stop trying to label me. I know you're doing all this for Catherine, but don't push me. I've protected people who had no part in this, but if I have to tell the world what your father did to me, I will, and don't think for a second that I don't have proof. You want your little few minutes of fame following your essay of mother's footsteps? It's not going to work. I have proof there, too. I had nothing to do with Kathy being turned in or convicted. I didn't even know about it until months after it started when Bill showed up at my door. That's the truth. I don't have the munching burgers by proxy, and I'm not mentally ill. I treated you like royalty. You were spoiled. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why you turned into this. I know you're angry about what I said when you were pregnant. I regret it. But you earned that piece of my mind. You kept breaking the no contact order between Kat, which was legally binding court order. I filed that order to the letter just like the police, social workers, and courts told me to, because I was keeping Ashley safe. But you should be ashamed, Samantha. Instead of attacking me, think about your own children, what they've gone through. Think about the things that I could do to them. Think about the kids they've hurt. It's time to stop. It's going to stop soon, one way or the other. Don't mistake me for who I used to be. I'll fight back now. All of you watching this drama and believing the lies, it might be entertainment for you, but you're ruining lives. God will make you pay, and I honestly hope he does. I pray for your forgiveness, but if he doesn't forgive you, that's on you. Everyone will get what they deserve from the Father in heaven. We are innocent. We are targeted because the stalker thought we were weak, but we're not. We're fighting back, and we'll keep fighting back. And let's make one thing clear. I wouldn't go into a courtroom and admit guilt to something I didn't do. People don't plead guilty to sex offenses for no reason. Kathy confessed. That's why she was convicted. So stop rewriting history. Samantha, clean up your own life before you come into mine. Who's the one drinking all the time? It's not me. Where it is, you've been thrown back hard lately. I hear you become an alcoholic, and that's the mother who raised you for the first 12 and a half years of your life. That breaks my heart. But stop running your mouth about things you don't know anything about. Stop repeating garbage that someone else fed you. Well, I couldn't let that rest. I had to file a rebuttal. And in my typical shizzy fashion, I do it in the worst possible way. So it's an open letter. I don't have the little piece on here to do that. Open letter. The gospel according to the unwell.
Welcome to the shit show.
Yeah. Open letter. The gospel according to the unwell. There comes a point where a rant stops being communication and becomes a sermon, not from the mount, but from the ditch. A wall of capital letters, half-remembered court orders, and divine threats usually means someone's hit a point where their self-pity is taking the wheel, and judging from this latest holy scroll to hit the internet, the congregation is one. Well, you built yourself a pulpit out of denial, parked it in a flea market stall, and called it righteousness. Well, the speech begins the same way they always do. Leave us alone. We're innocent. We're chosen. God knows the truth. It's the spiritual equivalent of plugging your ears and shouting over reality. Well, shit, you don't want peace, you want silence, the kind that comes when no one challenges your bullshit fantasy. You plead innocent while swinging accusations like a sword. Everybody's a liar, a drunk, a sinner, a molester, a conspirator. You're simultaneously the victim, the prosecutor, and the almighty press secretary. Each paragraph contradicts the last. You're not mentally ill, but you hear divine confirmation. You've moved on, but can quote every grievance since 1998. You forgive, but only after you list everyone you plan to destroy. Your latest post reads like an affidavit drafted by caffeine and resentment. You reference court orders and proof as if those words turn rumor into evidence. You threaten to post the case to expose the truth, but the only thing you'll ever expose is how much time you spend rehearsing vengeance in front of a mirror. You invoke God like he's your bail bondsman, a cosmic enforcer waiting to smite the unbelievers on your behalf. But then comes the greatest hit of all. I treated you like a princess. Every tyrant rewrites history as generosity. You don't remember the control, the manipulation, the emotional whiplash. You remember the gifts you gave, the meals you cooked, the sacrifices you imagined no one thanked you for. It's the weaponization of motherhood. Love recited as evidence for ownership. The problem with rewriting your life as scripture is that people remember the first draft. The names may change, but the pattern doesn't. Someone leaves your orbit and suddenly they're possessed by demons, driven by sex offenders, or funded by stalkers. Everyone else becomes part of the conspiracy except the one constant variable: you. Now, you say stay at home and mind your own business, yet somehow your business spills across every corner of the internet. You claim you don't want attention, yet you keep addressing everyone like a televangelist with a captive live stream. You talk about innocence like it's a badge you can laminate, unaware that every word you type reopens a case in court of common sense. Well, you call your enemies alcoholics, liars, degenerates. That's the projection in its purest form, the desperate attempt to smear enough mud around that nobody notices which hands are dirty. You preach about God's judgment while begging for the attention of mortals. You say God will make you pay, but you've already written the invoice yourself. And of course, the grand finale is we were chosen because the stalker didn't think we would fight back. No, you were chosen because you never stop swinging. You mistake chaos for courage. You think being loud is being brave, and that everyone else's exhaustion is proof that you're winning. But when every friend, every relative, every bystander eventually walks away from your sorry ass, maybe it's not persecution. Maybe it's the echo of your own sermon bouncing off the empty pews. So keep quoting that scripture in case numbers in the same breath. Keep rewriting villains until the cast list runs out. Keep promising proof that never appears. The audience isn't fooled anymore. They're just watching to see how many more times you can trip over your own fucking halo. You don't need an enemy to fight. You already built one out of guilt, delusion, and the pieces of everyone who has tried to help you. The devil you keep naming in others is the reflection you keep refusing to face, Lynette. Maybe the next revelation, it'll be silence. Shizzywhiznut, the incompetent YouTube moron in Velcro shoes, reporting live from the short bus of common sense. Thank you. I knew you guys would appreciate that one. Yes, we all know this, but they feel the need to grift because of hatred. I don't know. I grift for the lack of hatred. As you can see, that grift is going really well. It gets crazy in here. It's getting crazy in here. Okay, we've gone over that. And let's see. We want to save changes. Yes, we can save that right there and save. And I'm closing these things out so I don't have to be bothered with them anymore. Like I said, we were going to go over a little bit of the paint chip stuff tonight. So I heard about this also. I wasn't the only one that heard about it, but and I will say that it's pretty interesting to me whenever I started doing just a little bit of research. Megan and Tug Raid, welcome Megan and Tug Raid. Now, I did a really interesting thing. I just said, okay, let me see what else I can find. And I wasn't too sure about it, and somebody confirmed it for me tonight, right here. Google the Richard Little paint chip, and you'll see "Welcome to Bully Hunter." And this guy has gone really into it, and this is his little speech that he makes. I feel like we all have specific areas of expertise here that, when combined, is absolutely lethal, according to Courtney Kotzian. Over the past few months, convicted felon Joseph Camp, convicted felon Richard Luckman, or as we call him, Paint Chip, Ty Jackson, don't know who that is, Courtney Kotzian, have been very busy. What have they been busy doing? They've been busy utilizing a telegram to plot, scheme, and attempt to destroy any of their perceived enemies. What they did not realize is that their Telegram group was public-facing. Once this was discovered, I, James McGibney, the founder of Bullyville and host of Bully Hunter on A&E, immediately contacted the FBI. They have had access to the link for quite some time. Simultaneous, multiple law firms began to forensically catalog every single post that they made within this group, and is most certainly going to hold up in a court of law. It is also my understanding that a subpoena was already issued. The plan was to keep letting this group of e-thugs self-incriminate. However, they started to plot some plans that were considered dangerous and that would put innocent people in danger. The decision was made to go public with this information so potential victims would be able to respond accordingly. It's no surprise that convicted felons Joseph Camp and Paint Chip were both previously arrested by the FBI. Would be this malicious? Same holds true with Ty Jackson. He's a monster, but Courtney Kotzian was a bit of a surprise. The fully authenticated Telegram post speaks volumes. She truly is pure evil. Within one of her videos, she stated that she wasn't sure if convicted felon Joseph Camp even exists. She clearly knows who he is and had hundreds of interactions with him. For the record, countless children. Camp's victims, most who have permanent restraining orders against him, would disagree with her statement. She really is such an evil woman. Just pure evil. Courtney claimed that we would never find her other accounts. We found them in about 5 minutes, including her Telegram account. Quite honestly, if Courtney just stuck to making a bunch of rambling, incoherent videos bashing episode 1 of Bully Hunter, law enforcement wouldn't have cared. And neither would I. Hell, she probably was the reason why more streams came our way. So for that, I thank you, superfan. But the moment she decided to team up with convicted felons Joseph Camp and Richard Luthman, she consciously made that decision. And now, here comes the consequences. Fully authenticated Telegram chats between these thugs. Courtney Kotzian, and we'll probably not be able to pull these all up right away. Okay, I read it all. I think I should team up with Frank to write a deep dive on everything we know publicly. And let's see if we can open this thing up. Open image in a new tab. There we go. And I'll see if it'll do it. Open image in a new tab. And each time it flips, I'll open an image in a new tab. Oh, there's more. Open image in a new tab. Open image in a new tab. I'm opening these up in a new tab so that way I can show them to you uninterrupted. Because they look pretty damn interesting here. Open image in a new tab. Open image in a new tab. Open image in a new tab. Oh yeah, it goes on and on and on. Looks like they've got quite a bit that they've been doing. Open image in a new tab. Open image in a new tab. I mean, it just keeps going. Open image in a new tab. Open image in a new tab. Okay, it's going on. I mean, it hasn't stopped. And I think that's one right there. All right, let's see what we've got here. Share this tab instead. Well, so we can take a nice little gander. Courtney Coda said, okay, I read it all. I think I should team up with Frank, which would be Frank from the Frank Report, to write a deep dive on everything we know publicly about the women who stand by their bully husbands. I should personally try and reach out to them for a comment respectfully, then implicate them all in this under the guise of, do you know who you married? Interesting, huh? That somebody would do something like that. This is literally a TikTok trend, women questioning who they married. I'll go into detail on how these guys treat women and ask their wives if they support these actions. And then, of course, you have Paint Chip wants to jump in there and throw his stuff. I think I'm the best person to target the women because I can do it very mindfully, says Courtney. Paint Chip throws another link in there. Courtney says, after I do something on Chipata, I believe that's a former attorney. Paint Chip throws an image in there. Courtney goes on, I'm meeting Frank in person today or tomorrow. So she's meeting up with him. And of course, you know, Paint Chip can't do anything except keep throwing pictures and images of people that they're going to attack because that's the kind of person that he is. And he's engaged in fraud, false pretenses, or extortion. The public definitely has the right to know. That's how we use the family pictures without them saying targeting. She injected herself. I'm thinking the website name should be denashville.com. Macklemore, I'm just uploading my new YouTube video. If I want it in, I went in hard. All of them don't cringe at their behavior. I haven't done a good enough job. Richard says, send a link. Also, Courtney called me. I sent you the emails where Nick Chipata said that my $10,000 demand, which was brokered as part of mediation with the magistrate judge Mazzell, was extortion and I was a terrorist, deflection, projection, and Darvo aside. This will follow up on your coverage of Judge Mazzell, and it establishes that Nick has no remorse for all his bad faith, ethical problems, and more from camp. It will grow, but I'm working through the functionality of it for now. Ignore the contents, just placeholder material. So he's creating Facebook page. He's creating his new Nashville. And of course, they're adding people to this. McGibney is a strange guy, classic narcissist. Funny thing, he's almost had a TV show 10 years ago. Yeah. And it says, officially not Joseph Camp says, not a white supremacist. Now, I can't locate the video I'm looking for. It was a full conversation between Dinesh and Philip. I've never seen the conversations in entirety. I've illegally heard all depositions on Dinesh in this case, by the way. I've also personally witnessed all of his sworn testimony, too. What's illegal about hearing proceedings related to a federal case? You're a member of the press. I get your point, but I don't want to inadvertently give Dinesh any excuses to get sanctions. Looks like Dinesh is blowing up in the Netherlands. See how they're trying to take down people? Oh my, oh my. Well, thank you for becoming a new member. Welcome, 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 welcome. Who? Someone just became a new member. Welcome to the shit show. Most definitely.
To the shit show.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Joseph Camp, Goose and Gander, it should be all or nothing. He's filed more documents under seal than anyone. Let's give him full 100% open records. I want to see it all. He knows I'm going to get it all in discovery. In my case, I'm a member of the press. He's trying to safely detonate the grenade. I want to see his tax returns. They have his children's name on them. His kids can get hit by a truck for all I care. I do not give an F about his kids being doxxed. Do you see? Do you see the type of people that you're dealing with here? This is the kind of people that Jeremy is dealing with. This is the kind of crap that he's having to put up with. Hello, Palmer's Archer Homestead. Welcome. So they want to say that Dinesh is receiving money through a trust, which I said all along. The guy has money. I double checked with ChatGPT, but an accountant in the States told me he had property based off his return. You should imagine you're using ChatGPT for your research. It might be that he's bought some property or the trust internationally. That was Section C. So it might be prepping to flee if he all goes south for him. Pretty certain he said he's been in Mexico. Not public info, but Dinesh is trying to demand $7.5 million to settle. So they know how much he's trying to settle for. Isn't that stuff supposed to be between the parties? But he tells his people that it's only a $5 million case. F him, no one's settling anything. McKibney's TikTok burner blocked me. Oh, correction, not blocked, but he deleted a bunch of comments. Probably clearing all his previous guesses on things. Big hacker mans. Ha ha ha. They think that they're funny. Frustrated wannabe YouTube star Ty William Jackson, the feud junkie, and something or other. Bay Ty's another liar. Ty Jackson releasing a Cobb-ass podcast in which that I am the Xylan B, blah blah blah. More from Joseph Camp. Think these guys aren't paid actors yet? Think these guys aren't paid actors yet? Think you're starting to see something come up here? Mac Lamore, the man is spiraling hard. I'm here for it. I always call these moments the death rattle. When you talk to people who work in hospice, they will tell you the death rattle right before they pass over. That's what we're seeing. He knows he's finished. We saw Dinesh do the death rattle a while back. And these are the kinds of things that they're saying. Courtney is saying, me and Coco for the rapture. Right now, we're just going scorched earth and taking everyone with us. Courtney says, I've not been okay from the day I was born, a paranoid schizophrenic. Neither were Coco or Tara. Talking about offing herself and her 2 kids. Look, I found in my harassment archives, I'm no vernacular expert pretending to be me. I always call these, well, I certainly hope so. Oh no, one more thing to hit him with is his voice. I believe he is self-conscious about his high-pitched, very nasally feminine voice. I'm going to wait for him to hit back. And of course, they want to put in there, he's so easy to trigger. I told him to come out of the closet due to the Taylor Swift song. So he's now using Guns N' Roses. I know people disagree with me about the women in these men's lives, but there's a thing called coercive control, which is what I believe their wives of these bags of shit are under. Yeah, these are garbage people. I want to know how the ecosystem explains this. Oh, they'll say it's made up. They'll say that's not true. These are made up things. Oh, I haven't seen any proof of it. Well, the problem is that they can't see 2 feet in front of their nose. They got too many other things that they're more concerned with. You have to remember that from everything that I've seen, can you find a differentiation between these people and the ecosystem? I mean, you have to remember the ecosystem invited this guy in. People like Volpe invited this guy in. They asked for these people to become a part of them. There's a reason why somebody got their ass removed off of the YouTubes. Remember that. There's a very specific reason why somebody got removed off the YouTubes. I had nothing to do with that. Had everything to do with their behavior. Hey, Jay, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thus, she's aware of the harm and still participates. That's true. I wish Courtney was here for this conversation. She should shed more light on it. Abusive relationships often leave the victim in them, not knowing what is right or wrong anymore. They live to appease their abuser. And then, of course, Joey Campalot says, I wish Courtney was here for this conversation. She invited her. Let her know this group is 100% confidential, but I don't mind her here. Cam says, invite her. Let her know this group is 100% confidential. Omaha, she's probably just in bed. I spent a lot of my time speaking with mental health experts for a few junkie videos. And of course, he says, my brain is stupid. I have a migraine most of the evening. I definitely get her to input to say she will definitely have something to say. If you look at James and Visvu owned domains, there are domains like dispute post, delete post, etc. to create the pay to remove content from other sites. If you look at James and Visvu owner, that's a solid piece of his scam. Okay, I read it all. I think I should team up with Frank to write a deep dive on everything we know publicly about the women who stand up by their bully husbands. That's just a repeat of the last one. We got a new member. Welcome. Hello. Thank you for becoming a new member over there. Appreciate you. And it looks like, it looks like all the same stuff. It looks like that one is a rehashed one also. And I think this is one that I've already seen. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's just the same ones that I've already seen. It looks like there's quite a bit of that. Close that. And of course, we'll pull this next one up because I didn't see this one. Blink 49 is so trash that on my daily basis have their emails anywhere. Susan's emailed all of them, so they'd be getting multiple emails. And of course, you can see all of the stuff that they have in here. Now, I'm not going to zoom in on it because they've got email addresses of people that they're going after. Interesting. So Great McFibney is getting screwed. That's Great McFibney is getting screwed. I'm researching the studio. They get small-time gigs. Streaming networks pay the studio, but these are low streaming runs, so nothing probably lost to the studio. It's a bad studio. Doesn't even have the show on their site. I'm wondering who the A&E people were who allowed to get it in the network. If this is done right, Laura will never work again. This is a major blunder to have McGibney on. Dude, they effed up Parlato. He hates these people, and you don't F with a Sicilian and walk away unscathed. No, Parlato went after them. It's just insane. That doesn't seem like a nice thing to say. Oh, there's quite a bit of that. Welcome, Pam Whitaker. Welcome. And it's insane to me that this is the kind of behavior that they're promoting. I mean, it's not like these are the greatest actors in the world from everything that I'm seeing. And there's more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And if you're wondering where you can find that stuff, I will tell you what. Here you go. I will post it right here so you guys can. Oh, doggone it, I hit the wrong key. I meant to post it right here. Paste that there, and there you go. You can find all of it right there. Every single bit of it is right there. You can read it for yourself. Find out what kind of people that they are. Find out exactly what kind of people they are. And let's reset on this. And then, of course, you've got, according to Courtney, she's never interacted with this person. For the record, countless children camps victim, mostly of permanently restraining orders. Here, just listen for yourself.
All that being said, to show you this absolutely incredible case study on misogyny. And I love this so much. And I love it for a couple of reasons. One, I don't even understand what I'm being accused of here. And this whole thing is hilarious. This is very chronically online identity politics, I think, of like consent. That, did I give consent that he could use my name? Yeah, I put my name out there. I do love that he went just a step further and referred to me by my first, maiden, and last name, and then hunted down this picture of me that is from 2022. And it's really funny because I'm like, 2022 is a long time ago. I am sure there are so many uglier pictures of me than that. Like, you couldn't do any better than that? I mean, that's pretty bad. It's funny. Like, it's funny. Like, I like that. Like, if you actually saw the pictures that I send back and forth to, like, my niece, or, you know, I'm always trying to look as ugly as I possibly can. I don't care. I really don't care. I am old. I'm like 40-something years old, and, like, that doesn't bother me. I don't do social media as, like, a vanity project for myself. This account.
But imagine that the whole time you've been working behind the scenes to go after people. Behind the scenes, you've created a whole little Telegram group to go after people. Just keep this in mind whenever you're saying, oh, well, you know, sure, they're communicating because they're involved in some stuff. Sure. But they're plotting to take down people. That's their whole desire.
I have some accounts that these guys don't know about, that they've never found. They're completely irrelevant to anything I've ever posted about before. Mostly in the realms of like art and food, but like art and food history, that like you don't see my face, you don't hear my voice, my name's not associated with it, etc. They're not sock puppet accounts. Like, they have large followings.
They're not sock puppet accounts, really. Amazing. It sounds to me like, how old is this story? This is new. How old is this story? This is new, Laura. This isn't old. This isn't old news. This is what they've been doing. It just got to the point where they brought this in front of the FBI. The FBI has been handling this because they're plotting something that is going to hurt people. And they're not showing those part of the conversations. No, not her denying she knows them. No, it's not about her denying that she knows them or knows of them or knows who they are. She's old because she's in her 40s. My kids are all in their 40s. Mary Boyle, you're still young to me, doll.
Allegedly, you know, like, maybe I've monetized that. Maybe I actually know what I'm doing with social media, and this account that I have here is just kind of a social experiment that I've been doing for quite a few years now.
A social experiment by going after people. No, she was arrested, and her kids were taken away from her for talking about deleting herself and her kids. Oh, Mary Boyle, you're still a doll.
And this entire case has,
by her own admission, it's not me making stuff up, by her own admission,
been not as much of an obsession as everybody has said. And yeah, like, it's like my hobby. It's like a hyper-focus hobby. Like, I am super ADHD, and I need a good hobby. That Don Esch guy specifically has affected my real life. Now,
he didn't go after her. You have to remember, this is he redacted the names of the family members of Jennifer Couture. I imagine that they're absolutely mortified of her actions. We also redacted the names of multiple stalking victims of convicted felon Joey Camp.
Let's answer, because I'm going to answer. You're not even asking questions. You're not asking questions. You are making declarations. You are making speculations, all sorts of really weird things. And just really afraid of being accused of doxing, which is hilarious.
No, he found your publicly facing Telegram communications. Yeah, they always find each other. Feeding your ego, as silly as that sounds. Yeah, Jenny.
Because it's not doxing. I actually can understand what these things mean. I have comprehension skills, unlike a lot of these guys. But okay, also redacted the names of multiple stalking victims of convicted oh my gosh. Okay, so first off, this guy down here, I am at a point in this entire saga that I'm not entirely sure this person even exists. Like, I have never interacted with this person.
Yet we have Telegram messages between her and Joey Camp. Her claiming that she's never had any sort of interaction with Joey Camp or Little Dicky. What the F? Yeah. You're a little lost on this one? Dana, you can rewind and catch up. Well, we'll get caught up on these people. You have to remember that Paint Chip is in a lawsuit with Jeremy Hales. Dinesh Nassarian, I believe I'll probably say his name wrong. In a lawsuit with him, this Coacher character his Courtney got herself involved in a whole bunch of stuff. You Raider, welcome Raiders. These are the people that are associating. You have to remember that Paint Chip really wants a battle with Jeremy. Now, you have to understand they've been talking pretty quiet about what's going on with the FBI. So whenever you've got the fleas over there saying, "Oh, there's no, yeah, it was Paint Chip that contacted the FBI," I doubt it. I doubt it. I meant the Dinesh case. Yeah, I'm not getting in on the Dinesh case. And you see the same tactics used on What the Hales. Absolutely. That's been the constant right there. The same kind of behavior. And they just ramped it up even more lately.
Highly question whether or not they exist. Like, if Dinesh hasn't created some sort of AI profile of a villain. As far as I know, this person doesn't exist.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Deflect. Hey, thank you, Starzy. Yeah, give a little bit of love there. Show a little bit of love in your heart. Yeah. It's amazing to me that this hasn't been this is pretty insane. It has been. And I'm sitting there going, why is it? There we go. I'll see if I can make that a little bit better where you can see if I can bring that up. Nope, that didn't work. That this hasn't been brought up before, but see, we don't know all of the things that are going on in the background because we're not involved in these kinds of things. I just found out about this the other night whenever Tug was talking about it.
Richard, on the other hand, yeah, he exists, and I've met him. I've met him a couple of times. I've met him twice, actually. 2 hearings. Oh, no, I guess it would be 3 times, because the first hearing was 2 days, and then, because I'm considering those different meetings, and then at his hearing, and...
Yeah. Pretty evil. She's been talking with them. And you can find all this information. It's available right here. And you can go and look at the A&E streams that are on this. Paint Chip, Ty Jackson, Accelerationist Troll. You got Joey Camp right here that was arrested. felon, child stalker, paint chip, convicted felon, Billy Hunter fan, Courtney Codazane. Yeah, these people Google Richard Luthman kidnapping. Well, we did. We did. We found some of that information. We found some of that information, and it's all, like I said, publicly available documents. Like here, I'll show you some of the stuff that we found. Personal confidential to addressee via certified U.S. mail, RR with certificate of mailing from Paint Chip. Outstanding account with Paint Chip. Dear Ronald, I'm winding up affairs of the Paint Chip law firm on behalf of its assignees, successors, and interest creditors, the largest of which is the United States government. This communication is an attempt to collect on debts Ronald Castori owes to Paint Chip. All of the work performed and related costs and expenditures were authorized by Ronald Castorina Jr. In accordance with jurisdictional requirements, please see the enclosed notices under Part 137 Rules of Chief Administrator. Further, please note that LFF, or Paint Chip, and I are represented by counsel. Why would you have to be represented by counsel? All communications should be had with Lawrence P. Alamogado Jr. of Alamogado Law. His details are included in the enclosed package. I implore you to reach out to my lawyers before this gets messy. Sounds like a threat to me. I further implore you not to try to contact me or have others contact me on your behalf. Please note that I am making a record of any and all conversations, communications related to this matter. Moreover, please do not engage in any further communications that may be construed as witness tampering upon information. Believe you have already been acting very poorly and dishonestly with potential witnesses. I have directed my attorneys that this tampering must be fully explored, and this matter proceeds to litigation. UOLFF, substantial, not just a little bit, but substantial amounts of our bullshit. Please further note that LFF and I are represented by counsels, crisis management, political fixing. Paint Chip spent many hours advising you and fixing things for you. When Paint Chip went away, you thought you could skip out on your bill, but the law does not allow such conduct. I don't want to get into it. Still, you are going to have much explaining to do, both in this fee collection case, People v. Paint Chip. Once I win my appeal pending in the Supreme Court, I quote the unparalleled eloquence of Mr. Dennis Quirk, perjury and lying under oath. And of course, and this is the kind of random ranting that you would find filed by something like Paint Chip and his people. Jesus, that Joey looks scary. Yeah, think about what those kids felt. But then we have to take it back just a little bit. Take it back a little bit right here. As you can see, this was 223. Order. This matter comes before the court on review of the file from this case's inception. Plaintiff Dinesh Nasavarian, I'm going to probably say the name wrong, has alleged that defendants have acted in concert with non-party Joseph Camp to harass him, his family, and parties involved in this case. Recently, on April 4th, 2025, John Doe and Jane Roe and John Doe 2 and Jane Roe 2 appeared for the first time by filing motions to quash. No Shavarian subpoena to Google LLC. YouTube required Google to produce all basic subscriber information for any of Joseph A. Camp's profiles, including any verifications. This request includes name, address, phone numbers, email addresses associated with his accounts, and login IP addresses from January 1st, 21 through March 13th, 2025. Seems a little bit insane. Why would they be going through all the way up through March 13th of 2025? Hit the button. Hit the button. You really want that button, don't you?
Welcome to the ship.
Every single day. A new flavor of fuckery, 'cause everybody sucks, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of twats. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, balder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and buggery. Ah, yes. Then John Doe, Jane Roe, John Doe 2, Jane Roe filed 6 duplicative notices that they are not Joseph Camp. More filings by more John Does were made. In addition, 30 filings. 30 filings were made within the last days by filers identifying themselves as either John Does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 69, or a combination thereof. They include replies to the motion to quash, objections to the magistrate judge order denying the motion to quash, notices of appeal to the 11th Circuit as to the order, and motions. The motions range from moving to temporarily restrain all further filings by plaintiff's counsel until such filings can be verified as nonfiction by the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, to quash the plaintiff's counsel's ego, among other things. Most of, if not all of the John Doe, Jane Roe filings are patently frivolous. But separately, it is a general rule that these parties to a lawsuit must identify themselves in the pleadings. Parties may use fictitious names only in exceptional cases. This rule protects the public's legitimate interest in knowing all of the facts involved, including the identities of the parties. A party may proceed anonymously in federal court by establishing a substantial privacy right, which outweighs the customary and constitutionally embedded presumption of openness in judicial proceedings. The court has not approved any party to proceed anonymously. Given the improper flooding of the court's docket, the failure to first seek permission to proceed anonymously, and the court's power to control its own docket. The clerk is directed to strike but retain for the record all pending filings by John Does or Jane Does before this court. Documents 289 through 295, 298 through 305, 308-09, 315, 322, 324 through 326, 329 through 333, 335 through 338. The clerk is further directed to reject any anonymous pro se filings unless otherwise ordered by the court. Buck naked is an earworm with a grip tighter than the creature from Alien Hunter. How do you do, Kevin? Love Baby Yoda. The 11th Circuit will leave the notices of appeal and the writ of amendus to the 11th Circuit intact and recognizes that, as a general matter, the filing of a notice of appeal deprives the district court of jurisdiction over all issues involved in the appeal. But that general rule at most would only deprive the court of jurisdiction on the lone issue involved on appeal, whether Noshivarian subpoena to Google should be quashed. And in any event, at least 2 exceptions exist to that general rule when a frivolous interlocutory notice of appeal is filed or when a notice of appeal from a non-appealable order is filed. Accordingly, as now ordered, the clerk is directed to strike but retain for the record all pending filings by John Does or Jane Roes before this court. The clerk is further directed to reject any anonymous pro se filings unless otherwise ordered by the court. Done and ordered at Fort Myers, Florida, this 23rd day of April, 2025. Notice the time. Notice the date, the 23rd of April. Did you notice when somebody started kicking it back in here? Hey, Shelly, how you doing? Yoda knows best, of course. 1, 2, 3. You notice when this came in. You notice whenever the ecosystem really started ramping things up. So were they hired? Were they paid actors to do this? I don't know. But let's see. We've got more. It doesn't stop there. Like I said, I'm throwing this stuff out there because I think they've been hiding in the shadows a little too long. What do you think? So here we go. Let's add the next one up here. Well, it looks like a non-party paint shop seeks relief from discovery subpoena issued by Dinesh. Well, Paint Chip's motion is denied as moot to the extent he looks to quash the subpoena or any similar form of injunctive relief because the subpoena was withdrawn. When Nosavarian withdrew the subpoena, releasing Paint Chip from testifying, there remained no live controversy upon which the court could grant meaningful relief. Given the current procedural posture, the court cannot issue an injunction, declare the materials sought protected, or declare the subpoena an abuse of process. Any decision on the merits would be an impermissible advisory opinion. Paint Chip separately demands various sanctions against Dinesh and his attorney. For instance, Paint Chip asked the court to award fees, costs, expenses, and impose monetary sanctions in the amount of at least $100,000. The court will not impose sanctions under any of the authorities cited, even if Paint Chip is a journalist. That does not render him immune from discovery. And since the subpoena was withdrawn within a day of the service, any burden on Paint Chip was quickly mooted. Awarding monetary relief or any relief on such facts is unwarranted. The decision to the rest of Paint Chip's motion is thus denied, and his separate motion for leave to reply is denied as moot. Now, Nosavarian withdrew his subpoena because of a clerical error with regards to the place of compliance. Yet he now asks the court to modify the subpoena and order Paint Chip to produce the requested documents. This request is procedurally inadequate because it comes in a response brief. It is improper to seek affirmative relief in a response brief. This requirement isn't a mere administration exercise and ensures all parties, and crucially the court, are aware of such requests and able to respond in full. Regardless, the court declines to belatedly correct Nosavarian's mistake that Paint Chip has been told he need to comply with the subpoena, and that was ordered by the judge January 17th, 2025. But if you think that Paint Chip has been, been really quiet lately. Oh, he hasn't been quiet. I mean, this is not the type of person that he is. Did Marla Hugh raise $10,000 for Paint Chips around that time frame? I don't know. I don't think she's done anything to help anybody out. So I don't know. I don't know anything about Marla Hugh. Sorry. I mean, all I know is that she's got a hard on to go after Jeremy and sees that Lynette, she doesn't like her best friend, just threw her under the bus from what I can tell. That's the way it looks to me. So shall we go back further? I think we should go back a little further. Some of this may be new to you, but some of it may not be. So here we have, as you will see, it is called a United States District Court, Eastern District of New York, United States of America against Paint Chip, George Padula III, and Michael Beck. At all times relative to this indictment, otherwise indicated the defendant Paint Chip was an attorney licensed in New York and New Jersey. Paint Chip practiced at the Paint Chip Law Firm, which had its main office in Victory Boulevard, Staten Island, New York. For several years, Paint Chip represented co-conspirator 1, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury in connection with lawsuits brought against co-conspirator 1 related to a business that co-conspirator 1 operated selling scrap metal to overseas companies. Scrap metal is generally sold overseas in shipping containers. Co-conspirator 1's customers would pay based on the value of the type of scrap metal, the expected weight of the filled containers. So in or around 2014, Paint Chip introduced co-conspirator 1 to the defendant George Padula. Paint Chip told co-conspirator 1 that Padula's family was in the garbage transfer business and asked co-conspirator 1 to teach Padula about the scrap metal business. Co-conspirator 1 agreed. Paint Chip also said they had previously performed legal work for Padula 3, Padula 3's father, and Padula 3's uncle. Thereafter, Paint Chip, Padula 3, and co-conspirator 1 began to meet regularly at the law office and at a restaurant located a few blocks from the law office. Well, Padula and Paint Chip told co-conspirator 1 that Padula's father was a member of the New York-based organized crime family, and that Padula's uncle was a high-ranking member of the same. And here's where the scrap metal fraud comes in. Of course, a lot of you people don't know too much about this, so that's why we're telling you about it, so you know. In or around the summer of 2015, Paint Chip, Padula, and co-conspirator 1 together agreed to defraud companies seeking to purchase scrap metal. Co-conspirator 1 identified potential victims primarily through postings the potential victims placed in a trade publication. Paint Chip told co-conspirator 1 that Padula would be helpful because if there were any disgruntled victims, they would rely on Padula's organized crime connections to settle any disputes. On or about the 21st, Paint Chip registered 2 fraudulent companies within the New York Department of State that initial co-conspirators used to commit fraud. Commercial Metals New York Corp. Now, doesn't this sound familiar? Creating fraudulent companies, like creating fraudulent Facebook accounts that gets him thrown in jail yet again for creating fraudulent stock accounts. So that way he can like and love himself because, well, what's not to like and love about yourself? And Omni Metal Corporation, the addresses of record for both Commercial and Omni when they were registered were the same address of the law office. At first, using the Commercial name, the initial co-conspirators agreed to defraud victims by obtaining deposits from victims and then not providing them with any scrap metal at all. Co-conspirator 1 contacted victims of the Commercial transactions, used his real name to facilitate the fraud. Bank accounts controlled by Paint Chip and co-conspirator were used to facilitate the Commercial transactions. Does this not sound familiar? By getting money from people, then not providing them with any of the product. And doesn't that sound really familiar? Bank accounts controlled by Paint Chip and co-conspirator were used to facilitate the Commercial transactions. Watch that yawning, Shizzy. I can't help it. I'm old. On or about October 2nd, one of the Commercial transactions victims, Joe Doe Company 1, a business, the identity of which is known to the grand jury, wired $31,500 from South El Monte, California, to an interest on lawyer account fund account belonging to Paint Chip, maintained at Santander Bank, located on Staten Island. The wire notation on the IOLA account listed Commercial Metals as the beneficiary. The originator to the beneficiary information stated their address, which is an address the initial co-conspirators provided to victims so they would see an industrial area with a warehouse when they entered the address into an internet search engine. On or about October 6, 2015, Paint Chip wired $30,000 from the Iola account to a bank account controlled by the co-conspirator, maintained at the TD Bank located in Rumson, New Jersey. Doe 1's company subsequently threatened to press criminal charges against co-conspirator 1. Paint Chip told co-conspirator 1 that they should refund the money to Doe Company 1 to avoid co-conspirator 1 being charged criminally. After this incident, co-conspirator was expressed concern to Paint Chip about being the person who was risking criminal liability. Omni. After co-conspirator expressed concern about facing criminal liability for the Commercial transactions, the initial co-conspirators agreed to defraud victims differently using the Omni name, the Omni transactions. The Omni transactions involved contracting with victims to ship containers of valuable scrap metal, but then padding the weight of the containers with cheap filler material. Cheap filler material would be concrete or tires whatever stuff you can throw in there. Just want to make sure that YouTube count my view for Shizzy. Thank you very much, darling. I appreciate you. But then the initial co-conspirators would put in only enough valuable scrap metal to dupe victims, which they did by placing the valuable scrap metal on top of the container to conceal the filler material and behind pre-drill holes in the container to make it look as if the entire container were filled with valuable scrap metal. Co-conspirator 1 had contact from whom the initial co-conspirators obtained scrap metal for the Omni transaction. The initial co-conspirators needed a warehouse where they could store the scrap metal and filler material and load shipping containers. The initial co-conspirators agreed to rent warehouse space on Staten Island, New York, the warehouses, from co-conspirator 2. An individual whose identity is known to the grand jury. Co-conspirator 2 charged the initial co-conspirators an above market rate for use of the warehouse, knowing that the containers were being padded with filler material. The containers for the Omni transactions were frequently filled in the presence of co-conspirator 2 and his employees. Co-conspirator 2 also made suggestions for filler materials and helped procure filler materials for these transactions. Debbie Baker, good to see you. How are you doing? What is going on tonight? I'm looking, it looks like, okay. Just my camera went off. Debbie Baker, thank you so much, Dal. Debbie Baker with the wonderful $25. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling much, much better. That is so sweet of you. Thank you. Thank you really, really very much. You help keep this channel up and running. All you fine folks do. Co-conspirator 2 also made suggestions for materials. Now, Paint Chip told Padula, or we'll just call him 3, and co-conspirator 1 that the Omni transactions would be difficult to prosecute criminally because it would be difficult to prove that the filler material hadn't been added to the containers before they left the warehouse, as opposed to later in the shipping process. Because of co-conspirator 1's concerns about criminal exposure, Paint Chip suggested the initial co-conspirators commit the Omni transactions in the name of one of Paint Chip's clients who was blind and living on public assistance. Paint Chip suggested the initial co-conspirators use the client to set up bank accounts into which they would have victims wire money. Now, Paint Chip told number 3 and co-conspirator 1 to use aliases when interacting with the client with the victims of the Omni transactions, which Padula 3 and co-conspirator did. Paint Chip also proposed to the client that the clients be listed as the president of Omni and told the client he would be paid for his participation. The client expressed concern that he could face criminal exposure or lose his public assistance if the government discovered his involvement with Omni. But Paint Chip assured that the government would not find out. Once the client agreed to participate, the initial co-conspirators agreed to have the client open bank accounts in order to facilitate the fraud. Some banks turned the client down, but eventually several banks, including Northfield Bank, Israel Discount Bank, and TD Bank, did open accounts for the client based on false information provided to them. The fraudulent accounts were each located on Staten Island, New York. Emails containing various misrepresentation, including false invoices, were sent to victims as part of Omni transactions. Some of the emails appeared to have been sent or copied to the client without the client's knowledge. Paint Chip also introduced number 3 and co-conspirator 1 to co-conspirator 3, and an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury. Co-conspirator 3 performed various roles in the Omni transactions in exchange for payment of several $100s per task. Well, co-conspirator 3 met with the victims, supervised, participated in filling shipping containers, often accompanied the client to complete financial transactions involving the fraudulent accounts. From in or around November 2015 to February 2016, victims wired money for the Omni transactions to the fraudulent bank accounts. The initial co-conspirators received the proceeds of Omni transactions through transfers from the fraudulent accounts to other accounts controlled by Paint Chips. Hey, Shelly. How you doing? Hey, Kippy. Good night. You have a wonderful night, Kippy. Controlled by Paint Chip and co-conspirator 1 and through Kath withdrawals when proceeds were withdrawn in cash. Co-conspirator 3 would accompany the client to the banks to retrieve the cash. Initial conspirators usually divided the proceeds at the law office. He used his law office to deal out the money. He wanted to be a big man. Now, as we go down through here, we'll see that there was quite a few transfers made, at least 5 digits. The containers shipped to Doe Company were filled primarily with concrete blocks and contained just enough electrical motors to conceal the filler material. So in $22,000 $500 check was written to Paint Chip's law firm. He transferred $10,000, transferred more money around, and then we'll get down here to this. So this was their scheme. As detailed below, from on or around November 13th to about December the 1st, the Omni transactions wired about $433,000 to the IDB account. And then there was another $11,000 and another transfer of over $11,000. More transfers of $156,000, $24,000. And let's get down here because some of this is long and we don't need to read every single transaction that they did. Let me get down here. Let's see. In or about summer of 2016, co-conspirator 1 began a new scheme to defraud using a company that co-conspirator 1, another individual, operated. Now, co-conspirator 1 did not include Padula 3 in the scheme, in part because he did not want to share proceeds with him. So around 2016, told co-conspirator 1 that Chinese men had showed up at the law office, one with a gun, looking for Omni, because the address for the law office was listed on all of the Omni documents. Well, Paint Chip said that he had a private investigator research these men, learned they were members of Chinese organized crime. Well, Paint Chip and number 3 told co-conspirator 1 that they had the defendant, Michael Beck, with whom Paint Chip and number 3 described as an enforcer for the organized crime family, of which number 3's father and uncle were members, and muscle for number 3 conduct a sit-down with the Chinese men in an attempt to resolve the matter. Now, at the direction of Paint Chip and number 3, co-conspirator 1 paid a total of $23,000 to number 3 to provide Beck, and was told by Paint Chip and number 3 that they would also each pay $20,000 to Beck. Now, Paint Chip and 3 told co-conspirator 1 that Beck and Padula's uncle had to sit down with the Chinese men and resolve the conflict. Now, on December 15th of 2016, Paint Chip arranged for co-conspirator 1 to come to the law office under the guise of having co-conspirator 1 sign some legal paperwork and meet before going out together for the evening. When co-conspirator 1 arrived at the law office, Paint Chip was not there. Co-conspirator 1 contacted Paint Chip, who told him to wait inside the conference room in the law office, which had only one door. Now, while he was waiting in the room, number 3 and Beck entered it. Co-conspirator 1 tried to run to the door in order to leave the room, but Beck blocked him, pushed him, and told him to sit down. Beck pulled out a pew-pew and aimed it at co-conspirator's head and knee. With the pew-pew still out, Beck told co-conspirator 1 that co-conspirator 1 owed Beck $10,000 because Padula had loaned co-conspirator 1 $7,000, and Beck had then purchased the debt to add a $3,000 VIG or interest payment. Beck then handed the gun to number 3 and left the room, instructing number 3 to pop a cap in his knee. After Beck left, Padula 3 took the bullets out of the gun and told him Beck was serious. Number 3 walked co-conspirator 1 out of the law office and told co-conspirator 1 not to call the police. The Chinese man. Yeah. Now, this goes on for quite some time, and we've read through this before. But where it gets down to it is where the allegations contain those paragraphs, how much that they stole. But where, and as you can see, count 7, overt acts, count 8, kidnapping. Yeah. Count 9, extortionate collection of credit conspiracy. Count 10, extortionate collection. Count 11, using, carrying, possessing a firearm. Criminal forfeiture allegations. Now, it gives notice to the defendants charged in counts 1 and 7 through 10 that upon their conviction of any such offenses, the government will seek forfeiture in accordance with Title 18, United States Code Section 981A1C, entitled 28, which require any person convicted of such offenses to forfeit any property, real or personal, constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of such offenses. If any of the above described forfeitable property as the result of any act or omission of the defendants cannot be located upon exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with a third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, and has substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be divided without difficulty. It is in the intent of the United States, pursuant to Title 21, to seek forfeiture of any other property of the defendants up to the value of the forfeitable property described in this forfeiture allegation. What's ADW? Don't know. And it basically goes into this. They also have criminal forfeiture allegations, more criminal forfeiture allegations, and to seek forfeiture of any other property that the defendants might have. They weren't playing around. The federal government stepped in and decided to take a hard look at the kind of shenanigans that Painted was going about doing. They were very serious about it. It wasn't like they were playing a game and thinking of anything. There was actually a write-up on this. The write-up on this particular one was very important. It was written by the FBI, that he created what could have been an international trade crisis because of his behavior. Oh, you figured it out. Okay, that's good. Oh my God, yeah. Hit that like button. Yeah, make sure it feels good. Make sure it gets slapped hard and nasty like. And I've got one more for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a short video because, well, that's the kind of guy I am. I like to give you guys a nice video while I take a little bit of just a break and cough my lungs out. For whatever reason, I've been having a hard time with my voice lately. It's probably just a change in the weather. It does it to me every time. Absolutely does it to me every time. I don't know about you guys, but it messes with me pretty hardcore. I wonder why I have this issue, because they don't do anything about it. Also, if you didn't see what I posted earlier, I'm going to show that to you guys because it had to do with last night. Something occurred to me, and I wanted to run a theory, and I wanted to see if it was noticeable. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Here we go. So I posted this earlier, and like I said, I just want to make sure that you guys are able to see this, because if you haven't, share this around so that way it gets a little bit of information here for people. And see, there we go. And it's this I want to share right here. Yeah, share that. All right. So this right here, as you will see, I posted this out there. It says court and law enforcement records show no verified findings or judgments of harassment involving attorney Lips. The only filing that referenced harassment was Orange County Case 24 CA 011024-0, which was voluntarily withdrawn and never adjudicated. And there's a link there. Type in the name and you'll find it. The same thing. Also, she later appeared as a defendant in related civil litigation. That case is listed also. That would be Jeremy Hill's litigation against her. Prior related case was one where she went after her mother doing the same thing, her own family members, her mother-in-law. And you can also confirm those records just by doing a simple search. Because the original complaint was withdrawn and never ruled upon, there is no verified evidence of any harassment towards her. Statements that suggest otherwise repeat an unverified allegation rather than a proven event. The summary is based entirely on public court records to maintain factual accuracy. And you can also read that full mirrored statement. It's right there. Hello, welcome, William Moyer in Indonesia. I don't know about world famous, but I'm silly as all get out. So you can also go to the link on Facebook. If you're more Facebook proficient, share the link around. Go read the document yourself. The more it gets shared, the more we can break this bullshit narrative of her being harassed. And whenever I say that, it's not because, you know, I wish her to be harassed. I think that harassment is absolutely horrible. I don't wish that on anybody, but I also don't like whenever I'm accused of something that I never did. And you can read the court documents. You can read everything that she filed against Tug, Megan, Jeremy, me, Jay Hemp. You can read all of that information there. And then there was 8 or 9 other John Does or something like that that she never filed anything against also. My thought on this is that she's trying to create a narrative. She's trying to create a narrative that she's being harassed so she can try to show that in court. She's going to use unverified claims to make that sound like it's real. That's my belief of what she's doing. I could be wrong. So I want to set the record straight. Yamaha turns your thumbs back. Yeah, he does that. I mean, I told you to get it out of his backside. That's what happens whenever you play with fire. Don't play with it, man. He'll put a hurting on you. I do have a nice video that I wanted to show you guys. And I gave you a little bit of it the other night. So let's give you a little bit more, just because I think it's such a good song. It is not completely uploaded. I don't have a thumbnail for it or a description, and it is going to be on an album that I'm hoping to release next month. I just need to get all of the stuff together before I do that. So I'll let you guys see the video just because I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a good one. I think it's a pretty good one. I'll give you about half of it. Oh yeah, here we go. Just for you guys. Here we go. Oh yeah.
toys scattered around the room, what a sight to see. From G.I. Joes to Barbie dolls, they're all staring back at me. In this dusty old attic where memories lie, I grab my trusty harmonica, let out a soulful cry. Little green army men, standing tall and proud. They fought battles in the backyard back when I was just a child. But now they're covered in cobwebs, forgotten in the years. The magic they once held, now lost in ancient tears. I delve into the dungeons where dragons used to roam. With my imagination, it felt just like home. Tall tales of wizardry with spells and magic rings, but now those enchanted moments are just distant childhood dreams. Little green army men, standing tall and proud. They fought battles in the backyard back when I was just a child. But now they're covered in cobwebs, forgotten in the years. The magic they once held, now lost in ancient tears. I delve into the dungeons.
That's all you're going to get for right now. That's all you're going to get for right now. Yeah, you love this song. Well, just wait until you hear the album. The album is going to have a bunch of cuts of stuff that you have never heard before. Or if you have, you heard it whenever it was much, much older. Shizzy, I'm loving the Curtis Stingers vibe with the recent song. I'm a huge fan of the Curtis Stingers. Oh, very cool. I love to play with those. Yeah, I had quite a bit of fun with those. If you look on my page, you'll see that I've got like 8 albums out. I mean, it's pretty good. But I was in the groove. Yes, Kevin, you might have been in the groove. It might be in the groove, but you'll just have to wait. I can only tease them. I can't release them out all the way yet. But if you're liking that kind of stuff, just look at all of this content that I put together. December 1st, there will be a new album out for certain. It's already loaded. It'll come out on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. And that one is called Stars and Bars. And somebody was asking me about that. And there, you can hear a lot of those songs already. They're on the page. You just have to search for them, because I put quite a few videos out over the past what is it, couple of years? Yeah, I mean, everything that you can find on there, I can play one off of there for you if you want to. How about I find a good one that is on Stars and Bars that'll be out. And I think it's right here. I just want to double check and make sure that I have the right one. Yeah, this is one of them that was put out. No, not that one. Yeah, here we go. This one right here was released out for you guys. And so this one here, and I'll put it out so you guys can see. Right here. This one was put out for you for it. It is Escuela are retired.
Yo, I see you lips. Out here suing the air, drowning in filler, choking on despair. Ain't nobody ducking your subpoenas, we just ain't taking them seriously. Popping nuts, dropping, She roll up to court with them duck lips flaring, Botox brows, but nobody caring. Says she's retired now, girl, you got canned. Drop that law license like a hot wig stand. Talking defamation, but your rep self-made. You clout chase drama like it's minimum wage. Trying to sue thumbnails, beg for a seal, but the court don't cater to your Botox feels. On YouTube shows with the silicone boobs, crying I'm the victim while you aim and spew. You ain't a martyr, just a side plot Karen, writing pleadings with a wine glass staring. Escuela, R-E-Tie, courtroom clown with your lips so wide. Trying to play boss, but you barely inspired. Now you beg the judge while your ego gets fired. Escuela, R-E-Tie, fake lawsuits, girl, your logic's expired. Keep on lying, but we ain't buying. You got mocked so hard, now you're backpedaling crying. Yeah, Jane Doe this and John Doe that. Trying to sue the wind, your ass is too fat. You slip and fall, man won't touch your mess. Even he know you curse like a courthouse hex. Tug in your crosshairs, Megan in the smoke, but you swing like a lawyer who just woke broke. No teeth in your filings, no soul in your thought. Your face stretched tight at J-Hips taunt. Crying about thumbnails and public shame, but you stepped in the game and dropped your own name. Now you want silence, girl, please. You ain't fighting for justice, you just begging for a piece.
She said she not public, but she on every stream. Talking like a judge, but living in a meme. You wanna sue the world, but you can't sue the facts. And your forehead ain't moved since the housing collapse.
Escuela,
R-E-Tie,
faking the funk with a face rewired. Trying to gag the net with your wild complaint, but your whole damn case is a plastic feint. Escuela,
R-E-Tie,
muzzle the truth, now the fire's inspired. We roasting slow, short bust a tie, while your bullshit filings just fuel the satire. Now she begged the court, please seal it all tight, while she out here live streaming every legal fight. Trying to be the plaintiff and the victim and the judge, but your whole damn case couldn't budge your grudge. You poked the beast, then cried at the flame. Tried to sue free speech, now we mocking your name. This ain't oppression, this is backlash, boo. You tossed the match, now the smoke's on you. Retire from facts, allergic to truth. You filed this mess, long in the tooth. So keep on ducking, keep wearing that mask, but don't act shocked when the court just laughs.
rock, 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 rock.
They fooling no jury lips. You left the bar before they kicked you out. Now you out here chasing defamations like clout coupons. But I ain't mad, just entertained. Next time you aim for the best, make sure your face can't survive the test. Escuela, R-E-Tie, flapping your gums with the teeth looking wide. Keep on playing that courtroom charade, but this whole damn suit just reads you like shade. Escuela, R-E-Tie, girl, your whole bar card, avoid getting fired. You sealed your case, but opened the roast. Now the internet's feasting and your face is the main toast. On a crack.
I know I'm muted. I do that all the time. I've got one more for you. One more for you, and then I'm going to get right back into who makes you want to dance. Well, the next one is going to make you cringe. I'll just say it's very cringeworthy. Here it comes.
Yeah. This one's for the man who wrote love letters to solitary confinement and called it journalism. Shut up, Dick. We saw your paperwork. Let's go. Paint chip, the felon snitch in disguise. Turn his trauma tales into clickbait lies. Said he did time, now he blogs for clout. Still smelling like steel bunks and pillow mouth. Used to file motions, now he files dreams. Got a sock puppet voice and conspiracy memes. Cries foul in the court, then flexes online. But your whole damn past got federal shine. Tried to duck the shoot, took a welcome ride. Now you miss your cellmate and the things he implied. Said, I'd take that over mental decay. Bro, who says that you gave your sanity away? Paint chip, you ain't no fair threat. Just a burned out lawyer with a broke ass prick. Paint chip, back scratching for shame. Still dreaming about showers in your bunky's name. Paint chip, you ain't no fair threat. Just a burned out lawyer with a broke ass prick. Paint chip, back scratching for shame. Still dreaming about showers in your bunky's name. You Set it on red, you take a night of surprise. Over sitting in the box with no echo replies. Said you healed from the trauma, now you're back begging court. Trying to headline your pain like it's a contact sport. You missed the whispers, missed the dim light, missed the sound of Velcro and latching at night. Called it therapy, called it fate, but we call it wild that you relate. Now you run fake news under Love Fontaine, talking third person cause first makes you insane. Hide behind aliases like a TikTok fraud, while Bubba somewhere nods like that's my dog. Paint chip, you ain't no fair threat, just a burned down lawyer with a broke ass prick. Paint chip, back scratching for shame, still dreaming about showers in your bunky's name. Paint chip, you ain't no fair threat, just a burned down lawyer with a broke ass prick. Paint chip, back scratching for shame, still dreaming about showers in your bunky's name. 12 lawsuits deep and they all got bounced. Now you flex online like your cases count. Still posting threads like subpoenas rain, but you ain't got muscle, just barroom pain. You talk like a warrior, file like a flake, missing lockdown hugs and the prison steak. You had a list of names, you want it gone. Now you blogging all caps with the lights turned on. You say I'm a bully, now I'm just loud. You the one who voted for a medium crowd. You couldn't beat memes, couldn't keep your gig. Now you scream at the screen like a busted pig. Paint chip, you ain't no fair threat, just a burned out lawyer with a broke ass prick. Paint chip, still crying for change, but this time Bubba won't even know your name. Paint chip, you ain't no fair threat, just a burned out lawyer with a broke ass prick. Paint chip, back scratching for shame, still dreaming about showers in your bunky's name. You call me a troll, but you filed 12 lawsuits just to feel touched again. You call me a bully, and you the one begging for stripes, begging for court, begging for Bubba. Stay in the comments, cower, because out here, you already lost.
Oh yeah, that was that one. I had so much fun making those. You don't realize how easy they are to make content off of. Another hit, yes, I think so. I've like I said, I've got a whole bunch of them. I've got a whole bunch of them out there. But we're going to get back over here, and we're going to show you these wonderful save. Okay. All right, we're gonna get into the last one I'm going to show you tonight, and you're off to Snoozeville later, Badgers and Badgerettes. Thanks, Shizzy. You're welcome, Starzy. You get yourself a little bit of rest. We got one more here for you. This was decided February 25th, 2021. Ashley Kolata Guzik, on behalf of the Office of Attorney Ethics, waived appearance for oral argument. Respondent waived appearance for oral argument to the Honorable Chief Justice and Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey. This matter was before us on a motion for final discipline filed by the Office of Attorney Ethics, OAE, following respondents' guilty pleas and convictions in the United States District Court of the Eastern District of New York to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud contrary to these statutes, and one count of conspiracy to commit extortionate collection of credit. The OAE asserted that respondents' convictions and associated misconduct constitute violations of RPC. Failure to disclose material fact to a third person when disclosure is necessary to avoid assisting in criminal or fraudulent act by a client. 2 instances of commission of a criminal act that reflects adversely on the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer. 2 instances of conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice. For reasons set forth below, we determined to grant the OAE's motion for final discipline and recommend to the court the respondent be disbarred. Respondent was admitted into Jersey Bar in 2004 and the New York Bar in 2006. At relevant times, he practiced law with the Paint Chip Law Firm. He also maintained a law office in Island, New Jersey. Although respondent has no history of final discipline in New Jersey, on the 15th of May, 2019, the court temporarily suspended him based on the criminal misconduct underlined in this matter. He remains suspended to date. We now turn to facts of this matter. Federal grand jury indicted the charged respondent with 11 crimes, wire fraud, 2 counts of aggravated identity theft, money laundering conspiracy, money laundering, access device fraud, kidnapping conspiracy, kidnapping, extortionate collection of credit conspiracy, extortionate collection of credit, and using, carrying, and possessing a firearm. In 2017, respondent was arrested and detained until March 2018 when he was released on a $1.5 million collateral bond. While released on bail, respondent sent his wife a threatening letter because he believed that she was cooperating with the government's prosecution of him. In addition, contrary to the terms of a protective order, respondent provided a friend with 3 copies of wiretap interception transcripts for distribution to others. Consequently, on June 2018, District Court revoked respondent's bail, and he was sent to FMC Devens, an administrative security federal medical center. On March 18th of 2019, before Honorable Raymond E. Reyes Jr., United States Justice, respondent entered guilty pleas to counts 1 and 9 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit wire fraud contrary to USC 18, and conspiracy to commit extortionate collection of credit contrary to that, another 18 USC. Respondent allocated to very few facts in support of his pleas. In respect to the conspiracy to commit wire fraud, respondent stated that he represented a company that was ripping off Chinese people and Chinese companies in the scrap metal business. He further admitted that in furtherance of the conspiracy, the companies exchanged emails that traveled interstate. As to the extortionate collection of credit charge, he allocated that one of the individuals that was in that company had a dispute with the other individuals, and there's a situation and an encounter. Although respondent denied having been present, he stated that the encounter involved someone who brandished a firearm, and the individual was threatened in connection with unpaid business debt. Respondent acknowledged that he knew the encounter would be taking place at his law office. At the September 5th, 2019 sentencing proceeding before Jack B. Weinstein, I'm not sure, it's one of those two, Weinstein or Steen, I think it's Steen. Respondent affirmed his guilty plea. Judge Weinstein's statement of reasons, dated October 2019, set forth the facts underlying his criminal conduct. Specifically, through his law practice, respondent met with clients who became his co-conspirators and co-defendants, who paid unit per weight of scrap metal separated and charged by for by value. In 2015, respondent introduction of co-conspirator 1 to 2, and also as a client. 3 individuals devised a scheme to defraud companies seeking to buy scrap metal. Now, the names of the fraudulent companies were similar to the names of 2 legitimate scrap and recycling businesses and were used to defraud 8 companies. In early October of 2015, one of the fraudulent companies contracted to sell scrap metal worth $31,500. The purchaser wired the funds to his trust account. The monies were then wired to an account controlled by him because no scrap metal delivery was made. The purchaser threatened criminal charges. They returned the money to the purchaser, but used the lessons of this failure to develop a more sophisticated fraud scheme. Making your light count. Thank you, Priscilla. I appreciate you. Thank you. I got it. It's a very noble calling, sincerely. Thank you for what you do. Did Shizzy behave well in your classroom? Never. For each subsequent purchaser, the second fraudulent company arranged to sell and ship containers of scrap metal which had been diluted with cheaper metal. The valuable scrap metal was placed on top of the filler metal and in close proximity to pre-drilled holes in order to convey the appearance that the entire container was filled with the valuable metal. They also began using aliases whenever they interacted with customers, recruiting a blind person under the care of a guardian ad litem to be the nominal president of one of the fraudulent companies and laundered the proceeds of the transactions through various banks. Well, a respondent suggested designating the blind person as the nominal president, asserting that his disability precluded him from being sued. Sound familiar? They made more than $484,000 from fraudulent sales. Approximately $190,000 of this money was transferred to respondent, who was also charged $15,000 to debt card associated with fraudulent company. While the scrap metal scheme was going on, they demanded legal fees and other money from co-conspirator, including money to pay an enforcer to meet with members of a Chinese organized crime enterprise hired by disgruntled customers. A loaded gun was pointed toward the co-conspirator, who was directed not to call the police. During the sentencing hearing, Adam Trues, a procurement and operations manager for GDB International, testified that he purchased and organized the logistics for scrap metal product. Well, this person stated that they received a telephone call from Arthur Sharp of Omni Metals, which was one of the fraudulent companies, inviting him to visit a warehouse for the purpose of evaluating and purchasing insulated copper wire, which would be loaded in a container and shipped to China for recycling. Whenever he met with the third party who was not affiliated with Omni at the warehouse where Trues examined boxes and bales of insulated copper wire, neither Sharp nor respondent were present. On this particular occasion, the product that he could examine was limited. He was permitted to examine certain places and then approach the product only at the times that they would deem comfortable. If he tried to examine the container from a different vantage point, he was pushed aside. The limitations placed on his examination of the container did not raise any red flags. He explained that the nature of the business is a lot of times people get aggravated with the way we approach them. The contents appeared perfect, thus GBD entered into contract with Omni for the purchase of one load of the insulated copper wire for $140,000. He testified that in the scrap metal industry, payment is made at the time a container is loaded with product, thus the funds were wired and the container was loaded, sealed, and removed by truck for shipment to China. When the container arrived in China, government x-rays revealed that the container was filled with concrete and covered with insulated copper wiring, which created the outward appearance that the container was full of copper wiring. The Chinese government detained the container for quite a bit of time in China, requiring GDB to pay storage and disposal fees, and accused the company of engaging in illegal activity. Trues has worked in the industry since 2007, has never experienced similar circumstances. Although GDB had contracted for the shipment of 3 containers, only the first was shipped. During a telephone conversation, respondent told Trues that he would talk to his clients about the situation, contact him, but he never heard from him again. GDB never received a refund for those containers. A special agent with the United States Department of Commerce testified that the scheme came to the attention of the department, which enforces United States export regulations, because the scheme could affect the United States international business relationships. Russell Jr. Davenport, a blind man, testified about the use of his signature and identity for their own evil purpose. According to Davenport, he was walking on a street. A man named Arthur offered him $3 and some cigarettes. Davenport told Arthur about potential legal case against his legal guardian who had physically assaulted him. Arthur took him to meet the respondent, who had agreed to represent him. And at the meeting, the respondent asked Davenport whether he would like to be a president of Omni Metal Corp. Davenport agreed, but expressed concern about the impact that the position might have on his receipt of Social Security. And respondent told him, don't worry about it. Based on that testimony, someone named John Hetch provided him with falsified birth certificate and a false identification card, which Davenport used as president of Omni. Respondent gave him a cane and business cards. He visited different financial institutions, did not explain what he did during those visits, although Hetch had instructed him to dress appropriately after 3 banks had denied him. Hetch informed him that we got a thing called IDB Bank. Unbeknownst to Davenport, his name was being used to wire money when someone named Jimmy took Davenport to IDB to sign checks. Davenport sensed that something was not right and asked Robert Meyer, a bank officer, what was happening. When Meyer answered that $221,000 was being paid to respondent, Davenport realized he was in a little too deep, and at some point he told the respondent that he no longer wanted to participate. And then the respondent replied, do what you have to do. Davenport then closed the bank accounts. The next day, respondent's secretary called Davenport and directed him to pick up his case file. According to Davenport, respondent did not provide any services in respect of Davenport's legal matter. Respondent also ignored Davenport's phone calls. Davenport conceded that the respondent might have explained that he could not take the case because Davenport had a guardian. Davenport acknowledged that for his work on the scheme, he had received a stipend on 10 to 15 occasions, although he was uncertain of the total amount. Prior to his arrest, respondent had suffered from undiagnosed bipolar disorder. He thus thanked Judge Weinstein for sending him to FMC Devens, where he finally was diagnosed and treated for his condition after having suffered for many years. Respondent described the difference that proper treatment had made in his life, apologized to the victims of his criminal conduct, and stated that he just wanted to start putting his life in order and to be a productive member of society, law-abiding citizen, and repay those that I've hurt as soon as possible. Now, during the sentencing hearing, respondent admitted that he created fake Facebook accounts, used them to disseminate information during local political campaigns, which resulted in a pending state court criminal matter. He also falsified Facebook and Twitter business records. The federal prosecutor pointed out that while respondent was on bail, he leaked wiretaps contrary to the court's orders because he believed it would be politically advantageous to him. Now, on September 9th of 2019, in accordance with respondent's plea agreement, Judge Weinstein dismissed counts 2 through 8 and counts 10 and 11 of the indictment. In respect of counts 1 and 9, he sentenced him to 2 4-year terms of imprisonment to be served concurrently with credit for time served, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Weinstein also imposed a $200 special assessment, ordered respondent to pay $559,911 in restitution and respondent's forfeiture of $130,000. He summarized the respondent's scheme as follows. Defendant Paint Chip abused his status as a lawyer and conspired to commit wire fraud or fraud and extortion. He, together with others, devised a scheme to defraud export companies purchasing scrap metal for shipment to foreign customers, and then organized a scheme to extort a co-conspirator. While on pretrial release following his arrest, Paint Chip engaged in witness tampering and provided evidence to third parties in violation of a court order. You have a lot more work. You have to do a lot more work to have the FBI involved. Although he is remorseful for his conduct in alcohol and drug abuse recovery, his crimes were absurd, bizarre, and ruthless. The case illustrates the danger in ignoring mental health problems of practicing lawyers. Well, Weinstein concluded his crimes were bizarre and ruthless. He used his status as a lawyer to give an air of legitimacy to a serious fraudulent scrap metal scheme. His law license was the recruitment tool that allowed him and his co-conspirators to take advantage of a disabled individual to perpetrate the fraud. Unsatisfied by traditional methods of debt collection, he used threats of violence to collect a legal debt purportedly owed by a co-conspirator. The sentence imposed will appropriately punish and deter him from similar conduct. Do you think you have to do a lot more to have the FBI involved? Yeah, Dahlia, a run or a scam charity. That is true. Paint Chip's crimes damaged American commerce. It is important that American scrap metal dealers are able to ship their product abroad without suspicion that they are committing fraud. Deterrence of others who might engage in similar conduct was considered by the court. Well, Judge Weinstein determined that the respondent's substance abuse, mental health issues, and the pressure he suffered as a lawyer did not warrant less than a 48-month prison term. So they let him off because of mental issues. Although the court acknowledged that response behavior may have been partly the result of medical and mental problems and medications, they could not attribute it to that in view of the report he had from the medical survey the court ordered. Based on the record, the OAE urged respondents' disbarment, contending that his guilty plea was evidence of violations. That by failing to disclose material facts to 3 banks used to perpetrate the fraud, which would have avoided assisting in criminal or fraudulent act by his client, and that the respondent violated Another statute, he admitted in his plea agreement that he obstructed justice by sending threatening letter to his wife because he believed that she was cooperating with the government by disobeying a protective order that prohibited him from distributing discovery materials. In his May 12, 2020 brief to us, respondent contended that his prosecution was a ruse to conceal his role in a government plot, presented an obsession with geopolitical conspiracy theories, and expressed his indignation that his incarceration has precluded him from running his election interference machine. Following a review of the record, we determined to grant the OAE's motion for final discipline. Respondent's conviction of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit extortionate collection of credit thus established violations even more. It is professional misconduct for an attorney to commit a criminal act that reflects adversely on the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer. Respondent conducted further violations by failing to disclose material facts to the three banks used to perpetrate the fraud. Respondent's disclosure would have prevented his clients from engaging in criminal or fraudulent acts. Moreover, respondent's failure to disclose to his client that he was being lured into respondent's law office for the purpose of being extorted constitute a further violation. Respondent also engaged in conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice when he obstructed justice by sending a threatening letter to his wife, whom he believed was cooperating. Hence, the sole issue to the extent of discipline to be imposed. In determining the appropriate measure of discipline, we must consider the interests of the public, the bar, the respondent. The primary purpose of discipline is not to punish the attorney, but to preserve the confidence of the public in the bar. Fashioning the appropriate penalty involves consideration of many factors, including the nature and severity of the crime, whether the crime is related to the practice of law, and any mitigating factors such as his reputation, his prior trustworthy conduct, and general good conduct. The court has noted that although it does not conduct an independent examination of the underlying facts to ascertain guilt, it will consider them relevant to the nature of the extent of discipline to be imposed. An attorney's conduct did not involve the practice of law or arise from a client relationship will not excuse the ethics transgression or lessen the degree of sanction. And I'm scrolling down through here because basically what he's saying here is Judge Weinstein observed used his status as a lawyer to give an air of legitimacy to a serious fraudulent scrap metal scheme. His law license was a recruitment tool that allowed him to and his co-conspirators to take advantage of a disabled individual to do so. He also arranged for one of his co-conspirators to threaten another. In addition to the crimes themselves, he's demonstrated a distaste for or refusal to lead a law-abiding life. Even after his release on bail, respondent engaged in criminal conduct in matters unrelated to the scrap metal scheme. His criminal acts included witness tampering, releasing wiretap transcripts contrary to a court order prohibiting that very conduct. Indeed, he has complained to us that his incarceration precluded him from running his election interference machine. Case law supports disbarment on both counts to which respondent pleaded guilty. In respect of the wire fraud, attorneys who commit serious crimes or crimes that demonstrate a total lack of moral fiber must be disbarred in order to protect the public, the integrity of the bar, and the confidence of the public in the legal profession. And you have to remember that this is the guy that those freaks are putting their money on. This is who they're best buddies with. And they've been best buddies with them for quite some time. It's not like this just happened overnight. He's been working behind the scenes, trying to go at Jeremy, even including making threats on him, making threats on me, making threats on Megan, making threats on Tug. See, this isn't somebody that I think learned his lesson in court. Ms. Peanut, you're right. Maybe. Because he has continued to cause problems. And whenever Bully Hunters starts going into this, the bully hunter goes into this and starts talking about it, a lot of this stuff is going to come out. I mean, it might end up being a pretty long series of the kind of crap that he's been pulling. And he won't own up to it. Oh, I guarantee he won't own up to any of the stuff that he's doing. It's dangerous. But we'll see how it all plays out. You have to remember that right now he's involved. The FBI has gotten involved with this group of people. The FBI is looking at these Telegram messages that they've been making. And I can't confirm this because I'm not in the know. But if I had to guess, this might be what Jeremy was talking about with the FBI getting involved. And then Trump will save him. Okay, fat boy. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I honestly don't see that happening, Yamaha. Yeah, he really thinks that that's gonna happen for him. No. See, you can brush arms with people, but as soon as the FBI gets involved and they start looking at shenanigans that you're doing, they have a different take on that. They don't appreciate using their platform for it. The FBI got a hold of Jeremy a few months ago. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Disabled Dahlia. That's what I heard the other night. It doesn't look good for him. The shenanigans are going to be brought out into the light, and whenever and see, this is what I've been saying the whole time. Why I haven't been covering a lot of stuff going on with him, because let them torch themselves. They do such a fine job of it. You know, they have this thought that they're important enough that people want to talk about them. No, their lack of importance is what makes them interesting. Does that make sense? It's the whenever you see the kind of shenanigans that are going on in a lot of these court cases, you start to dig in and see what exactly is happening that you don't know about. What are you missing? What are you missing? Because this makes no sense. How does someone, and I'm sort of curious about this. Close tab. How, and because I really did think about this, because I was like this makes no sense to me. Okay. And I'll show you what I mean, because it's sort of important. Share, and I will share this one right here because I think it makes it important. Screen, what happened? Window right there. Share. Okay. How does someone that writes this gobbledygook of nonsense, that supposedly uses ChatGPT to write a filing? Okay. You see this right here? It's run on sentences that make no sense. Got all caps thrown in there. Nothing's broken up. Nothing whatsoever is broken up on it. So if someone that writes like that has this great skill as being some sort of master orator of some sort, why is it? Why is it that they can't write worth a damn in their pleadings? Does that make sense? I said a while ago, they're going to be they're going to be getting a rude awakening. Yeah. How can they write something that looks like that, and with all the claims of, well, They think some attorney's helping them. They think the paint chip is writing it. No, that's the thing. The question is paint chip writing for is Bubbles, Bruce, BBB, or is it Lips, or maybe it's Fleesa. I mean, who's the one that's actually writing? Who's actually writing those pleadings? Because she doesn't have the cognizant ability to even break things up into proper sentences with run-on sentences that sound to be like on the verge of splitting in two with their mind. Yeah, you're telling me they have the ability whenever they're complaining about constantly working with their child. See, you start seeing the PR stuff and you just laugh at it. You go, really? Really, that's what you're going to stand by? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still all in cahoots together. I mean, this is the levels that they stoop to. Because you have to remember, during, if you were here earlier, whenever I was showing you the bully hunter, if you see that and you realize that these people are saying, I don't know who this Joey Camp is, yet they're having private messages with them. I mean, so is what they're saying true, or is it a lie? Because see, tomorrow, which was supposed to be a hearing for the bankruptcy case, it's not going to happen. The courts actually picked up the documents and they're going to review the documents and decide on the merits of the case whether they're going to even allow her to continue with her bankruptcy. There's a possibility they may say, yeah, bankruptcy is back on, and they put a stay on everything. The only problem is a judge can tell her, nope, you still have to be here for the hearing. He tries to dress like Roger Stone. Yeah, trust me, he's no Roger Stone, not even close. The FBI got a hold of Jeremy a few months ago. Yeah. I mean, what is going to be the outcome of this? Hell, I don't know. It could be just about anything. At this point, it's hell. Think about this. The case with Jeremy is that Jeremy brought against her just in Fed 1. It's been going on for quite some time now. It's been going on well over a year. I think we were getting ready to push into 2 years, and they still haven't gotten discovery. But they did that to themselves. See, they've pushed this stuff out and pushed this stuff out and pushed this stuff out and pushed this stuff out. And it's gotten worse and worse. They've made a mess of it on their own. And they continue to make a mess of it on their own. So we'll see how it all turns out. You'll know within the next week whether they continue to stay on it, whether they keep it in federal court, in the bankruptcy court. If they do, well, on the 17th, there has to be a status conference. So of course, there's a big possibility that some stuff's going to come out of that too, out of all those stays that were put on there. The lack of filing, the lack of response. Plus now you're getting the FBI involved with somebody that's involved in this case because they're seeing the same kind of things happening, trying to figure out why we haven't heard anything from Fed 2 judge in over a month. Fed 2 judge and Fed 1 judge are the exact same judge. The reason you haven't heard anything from Fed 2 judge is because he is going over all of the filings and all of the pleadings. Plus, he has a caseload that I'm sure he's back down with. So more than likely, he has a staff attorney reading over it to give him a good summary He may be reading over it himself. And once he reads through it, he's going to decide whether the case moves forward, whether people's have been served properly, because the judge will look at it, make sure that they complied with all the laws. If they complied with all the laws and they've made their case, there's a possibility the judge could say, sure, we can move on. I wouldn't expect anything before December. Honestly, I wouldn't expect anything before December. You have to remember, October is going to finish up. We're going to roll into November. You might hear something in November. They should have their filings of a response back in by the end of October, if I'm not mistaken, depending on whenever their stuff was filed. Then you move into November, give them 30 days, 10 days, 12 days, whatever it might be. Mid-November, you might hear something as far as a filing, but it's going to be slow. See, they think the delay helps them out because, oh, nobody's got anything to talk about. They don't realize it's not about having something to talk about. I've got plenty of stuff to talk about. It's whether I want to talk about it or not. That's all that matters. I'm looking at hopefully, doing a stream with Tug maybe over the weekend or coming up soon. That's what I hope to do. And we're probably going to go over some of the paint chip stuff and look at some more of the stuff that's been going on. You have a good night, Kathy. Thank you for hanging out. So, I mean, be looking out for that. Well, it's one of those things that, we don't have a whole lot of time to get together and do streams. I mean, think about this. Yamaha's been very super busy. Plus, feeling not well on top of that. And he's taking some time and take care of himself. I don't have any beef with that old man, except he keeps throwing shit bags on my front porch and making me put him out. But that's okay. I'll get him back eventually. I mean, the rock salt does hurt. Rock salt does hurt. But no, it's just because, we all get busy in life. So, I think someone asked me, is there something going on between you and Tug and Megan? I was like, I don't think so. They're doing their stuff. I'm doing my stuff. I mean, I don't think anything's changed in that. I mean, I saw a little bit of Tug and Megan's stream tonight whenever I was getting my show together. But other than that, I was just like, oh, they're going to be talking about the same thing. And then I realized I hadn't created the stream. I was going to do a stream earlier this evening with the most wonderful Mo in the Deep End, but she couldn't. Gives you exercise. I'm your personal trainer. I know. I mean, it would help if you wouldn't put super glue on the bottom of those bags. But I know, you just can't help it. But it is also maybe not gifted 10 memberships. Oh my gosh, maybe not. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Now, if you guys have been gifting memberships, I hadn't been noticing them. Thank you. There it goes. Yep. It came rolling in there. Thank you so much. Maybe not for the 10 gifted memberships. It's going to do this to me for a little bit. Oh, Tracy Robert received one. Oh my gosh. And I wonder if it's going to do this for a bit. I'm going to go in and fix that so it stops doing it, because I expect another one to kick me here in a second. Yep. We got more. I guarantee it. They're coming. Yep. That's having a lot of housekeeping and cleaning out to do. I know. I'm fixing that tonight. I'm not going to let you guys get away with that crap. This has happened before. I know it's happened before. It's going to happen again. Here comes one. And it's not done. It's going to have another one here in a second, right about. And there will be another one right about. You know, we love you. Yes. Who put this up? I mean, I seem to remember violins or something. I changed it, and here it comes. One more time. Nope, that was it. That got them all. Who put this up? You seem to remember violins or something. Yes. There was something in there with violins. You're calling it a night, Max Lab? Me too. Everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for all your support. And again, be safe. Be kind to one another. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Oh, you thought I was done? Bless your heart, but I'm still living rent-free. It's a work of art. Call me daddy, call me nut, call me the goat. You're paddling upstream while I'm running this boat. You say, I don't care, yet you're glued to the screen. Caught up in my glow while you stay unseen. Your shade's like a breeze, it's barely a draft. Meanwhile, I'm the Picasso of roasting your ass. You say you're over me, oh how cute. But here I am, still the star of your loop. You're my biggest fans, don't even deny. So grab some popcorn when daddy goes live. Call me daddy, yeah, shout it loud. King of your thoughts, I'm making you proud. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, headline act. Your background noise, and that's just a fact. Let's face the score. You hate that you love me, but you keep wanting more. You're like a dog chasing cars, you don't know why. But here you are, barking while I touch the sky. Your comments are gold, such comedy gold. Who hurt you? Oh wait, it's me, I'm told. You're keeping tabs like an unpaid intern while I'm cashing checks. When will you learn? Your timeline's a shrine to every move I make. I'd say thanks, but you're a nasty skank. Oh, Shizzy's washed up. Yeah, sure, Jan, yet here I am, the centerpiece of your plan. You hate watch my stream like it's Oscar night, but guess what, kiddos? I'm still shining bright. Call me daddy. Send in your bread. I'm still rent-free in your effing head. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy on your brain. I'm your mental landlord, you can't complain. Let's keep it real. You hate that I'm winning, but you love how it feels. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break your streak? You tried to ignore me for like half a week, but daddy's too spicy, you can't look away. I'm the train wreck you need every single day. So while you're out there with your plastic clout, I'm here sipping coffee watching you freak out. You're irrelevant, wow, what a take. Now go rewatch my vids while I count how much I make. I count how much I make. Call me daddy, yeah, own it now. I'm reading your brain and you don't know how. Papa Nut, Shizzy Daddy, let's set the bar. I'm the constellation, you're a burned out star. Embrace your role, cause I'm the main character. You're just an old ragged ass, burned out troll. So that's your bedtime story, kids tucked in sweet and snug. Shizzy Daddy's forever, you lose and you're stuck in the mud. Now say goodnight to Papa Nut, your mental pain. Oh wait, you will see me tomorrow's. Bitch, and will see me tomorrow, same obsession, same effing thing.